11 out of 67. You look down at Michael Schumacher, but in the background there, Mika Häkkinen is making a charge. Mika Häkkinen leading the World Championship with Michael Schumacher. He's putting the pressure now on Eddie Irvine. He's just made the fastest lap of the race, Mika Häkkinen that is, and they've pulled away from David Coulthard. 4 seconds is the gap. Fisichella is 5th, right behind Coulthard.
Yes, and with Häkkinen putting a spurt on, that's given Irvine a hurry up, and they're actually very marginally closing in on Schumacher's lead. So Häkkinen now obviously feeling comfortable with the car. He's got the balance as he wants, and you can see homing in on Irvine into all of the braking areas. The only thing that happened while you're away is Damon Hill bumped across one of the chicanes. No significant problem, and he's still in 10th position.
Eddie Irvine resisting that pressure. I can't think of a better man to resist pressure. He's on his 80th Grand Prix. Tremendously experienced campaigner up through Formula Ford. He won the Formula Ford Championship at Brands Hatch years ago, then into Formula 3, and then into Japan in F3000, where he got a lot of very rough and tough experience, and it's paying off now.
Yes, it is. Häkkinen lost out a little bit. He got a bit out of shape, I think, earlier on in this lap, but he needs to be careful he doesn't overcook those tyres in his pursuit of Irvine. He's just about close enough to be in the turbulent air coming off the back of Irvine's car, but he has to treat the back of that Ferrari as if it's a mule. And Irvine getting well out of shape. What happened to him? He held it together, but he's lost an awful lot of time. Eddie Irvine looking ragged, looking untidy, and Häkkinen will feed off of that. He will enjoy that, but he has to be so careful. If he's going to put a move on that Ferrari, if it's a 50-50, Irvine's going to have him off the road.
All the cars in this race are using the softer compound tyre which is available to them, irrespective of whether they are Bridgestone runners like Mika Häkkinen here, or Goodyear runners like Eddie Irvine and Michael Schumacher ahead of him. We don't know what the comparative wear rates of the Goodyear soft and the Bridgestone soft are, and Mika Häkkinen for the 2nd lap in succession takes a look as they go into turn 1. Eddie Irvine will see him in his mirrors, of course, but Häkkinen now is saying all the time, I want past, and Eddie Irvine, unsurprisingly, is saying, well, you're not going to get there. And now Michael Schumacher is 6 seconds up the road. Look to the left of your screen and you'll see Michael Schumacher going up the hill towards turn 8 as again Irvine locks up.
Yes, the pair of them lost over a second on that lap as Irvine made that mistake and Häkkinen had to allow for it. But, now the gap is pretty level, isn't it? And on this particular lap, it's Schumacher that's the fastest so far in the first sector, according to the computer.
And Michael Schumacher bumping his way over the curbs on a replay is now...
That's Irvine,
I apologise, is with Mika Häkkinen behind him.
And that's the curbs I was talking about earlier on. If you do that too often through this race, you're going to have a transmission problem. You've got to give the curbs a bit of respect and give your car half a chance. Look at Irvine again, completely out of shape, and Häkkinen's got to run up the outside. I mean, it's so difficult for Mika. He really, I would think, doesn't know how hard to push. They've got similar straight line speed, those two cars. Irvine making mistakes everywhere, but I don't think Häkkinen will be able to pass him down the pit straight, and the other two places to pass are very, very risky.
Yeah, and David Coulthard has taken the opportunity to close up on both of them. It's getting very close now. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th as Häkkinen has another look. There is Coulthard in the background, Fisichella in the blue Benetton in 5th position, and Eddie Irvine doing his very best to continue to hold up the McLaren. He's really struggling. There is Michael Schumacher. There's an enormous distance on the track between the two Ferraris, but you can see how close Häkkinen is, and again, all the time, Eddie Irvine is locking up that right front, and that's not doing anything for the wear.
No, even though the new 98 tyres with the 3 grooves, they've got 4 grooves for 99, but this year 3 grooves in them, they're much harder rubber. They don't hurt as much when you lock them up like that, but it still takes life out of them. And what happens is, next time, if you lock the right front a lot, you start understeering a lot through left-hand corners when you put a lot of weight into that right front tyre. So Irvine really beginning to struggle. This is frustrating time for Häkkinen. Can he have a look up the inside under? Go for it, Mika. This is your chance. Yes, nice, neat, clean, tidy. He's kept it under control. Irvine won't get a run out of on the way out. That was a great move from Häkkinen and very, very timely.
Which gives the answer to, is Mika Häkkinen suffering from pressure? Well, he may have been out of the car, but he's certainly not in it. When your backside touches the seat and you lower your helmet visor and the race starts, the tension disappears. You concentrate on driving as quickly as you possibly can.
Well, Schumacher puts in the fastest lap of the race, as you can see, but he's got an 8.5-second lead. I think Ferrari will be disappointed that Irvine has not been able to hold Häkkinen up for a longer period of time than that, and for a greater distance.
Yeah, but Mika Häkkinen against the Ferrari, and Michael Schumacher has got an enormous job to do. Here's the replay as Mika Häkkinen just dives through on the inside of the chicane. Eddie Irvine defers.
Yes, Häkkinen in the slipstream had a good run up and sold him a dummy and came up the inside. Very correct driving there from Eddie Irvine. Very, very correct. Hats off to him on that, because Häkkinen had the corner and he could do nothing but yield. Here it is, look, he brakes about 10 metres later, says, okay, I've got the line into this corner, I've got the inside. The main thing then for Häkkinen was to keep it under control, not bounce across those curbs too much, and lose it again on the way out. And
look now at the way that Häkkinen is streaking away from Eddie Irvine. He's going to make the fastest lap of the race. He's just gone through the first 2 sectors of this 3-sector lap, fastest of all. He is challenging, and we've got news from James Allen in the pits.
Oh, guys, we've got a real motor race on our hands here. 8.5-second lead after 14 laps. That's only half a second a lap. Schumacher needs a 20-second lead after 20 laps, which is a second a lap. It seems to me the Bridgestone tyres are working better. The track temperature is quite low. They're working better on the low conditions. The Goodyears aren't getting the grip on the Ferraris, and particularly with the track being a little bit green as well. Later in the race it'll be better for them, but right now they're struggling a bit.
And now Eddie Irvine is struggling to keep David Coulthard in 4th position behind him. If they are on a 2-stop strategy, this is lap 15. I would expect them to start coming in round about lap 22.
Irvine again locking up his wheels, but Villeneuve won this race last year, and his first stop I think was 28, lap 28, then lap 49. But I think you're right, Murray. From 22 onwards is when these guys are going to start making their pit stops. So Häkkinen is flying. He took 8 tenths out of Michael Schumacher on the last lap while we were hearing from James, and he's already 3 tenths up on this particular lap.
So will his tyres stand it as you look at the battle for 3rd position? The red Ferrari of Eddie Irvine, the silver McLaren of David Coulthard, and the blue Benetton of Giancarlo Fisichella. 3rd, 4th, 5th into the chicane to complete their 15th lap. Schumacher is still 7.5 seconds ahead of Mika Häkkinen on lap 21 out of 22, as we expect the first pit stops. But here is the battle for 3rd position, and watch Fisichella in the blue Benetton. He's caught right up with David Coulthard, and he's in a challenge position now. And that's the Tyrrell team, that's Ricardo Rosset, who's just been lapped by Michael Schumacher. He's last in the race, 19th, 22 started, 3 are out, Tuero, Trulli and Diniz. Top 10 on lap 22, Schumacher 6.8 seconds ahead of Mika Häkkinen as you watch the German rounding the Dunlop turn. Eddie Irvine is 3rd, just ahead of Coulthard, who is just ahead of Fisichella, who is being caught by Wurz. 7th is Frentzen, who's been there and just ahead of Ralf Schumacher the whole race. 9th is Jacques Villeneuve, and 10th is Damon Hill. Well,
it's down to 6.8 seconds, and Häkkinen is already half a second up on this lap. No wonder Michael Schumacher locked his brakes into the Dunlop chicane, Dunlop hairpin rather, because Häkkinen is on an absolute charge. And Schumacher will know all about it. It seems to me as if the Ferrari is working its tyres a little bit harder than expected.
And look at Alexander Wurz in the background, in the 2nd blue Benetton. He's caught right up with the 3 in front of him. That's his teammate Fisichella, David Coulthard in the silver McLaren, and Eddie Irvine in the Ferrari. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th.
Look how cautious Eddie is under braking. We've seen how much he's been struggling all through the race so far. He's definitely holding these people up. I think they should be bringing in Coulthard, and if they're on 2 stoppers, and Fisichella pretty soon. They're on the 3 behind. The McLaren and the 2 Benettons are all on the Bridgestone tyre. It does seem to me, as I said, that the green track and the difficult with less rubber down on the track, the Ferraris are overworking their tyres.
They've got to bring Schumacher in because Häkkinen is reeling him in. It's down to 5.5 seconds now. It's the right time for Michael Schumacher to come in and put on a new set of boots. the new Goodyear tyres. Mika Häkkinen is really charging. He's done a series of fastest laps. David Coulthard there, his teammate. Ahead of him is Irvine. Behind him is Fisichella. Behind Fisichella is Wurtz. The two Benettons with the Playlife Mecachrome Renault V10 engine, it's all the same thing, are really moving here. They've got them handling very well after having problems in previous races. And I'm looking to see whether the Ferrari mechanics are out. And no, I can see tyre racks, but I can't actually see the Ferrari mechanics themselves out. Yes, he's definitely coming in. Michael Schumacher is going to be coming in at the end of this lap. And he will lose the lead to Mika Häkkinen. He might just get out behind Irvine, Coulthard and Fisichella, which would delay him considerably. So it's going to be nip and tuck. It takes about 21 seconds to make a complete pit stop from entering to leaving, and in comes Fisichella from 6th position.
That could well put Fisichella ahead of Irvine and Coulthard if this pit stop works out well. Normally the Benny boys are pretty quick off the mark. He'll need to be going pretty soon now. That's not a great stop, and now he didn't really have it in first gear. He made a poor job of getting that car away and wasted his opportunity because they've called him in first. Meanwhile, Häkkinen has brought the lead down. There's the Ferrari boys. You can clearly see Häkkinen's brought the lead down to 5.2 seconds.
And I'm going to watch the track. You can watch the pits as Michael Schumacher comes in now. There's Häkkinen in the background. 5 seconds is the gap between Michael Schumacher. James Allen, get ready to receive Michael Schumacher for what is going to be a very critical pit stop. In comes the race leader. Now I'm going to watch the track and tell you when Mika Häkkinen goes by. Over to you, James.
Well, Martin said at the last race how thrilling it would be to see Häkkinen really take the fight to Michael Schumacher. We're seeing it here today at the Nürburgring. Tyres are playing a big part in it. I'm just trying to see the fronts for Michael Schumacher as they come off. Oh boy, they've done some work, let me tell you. The tyres just came off Fisichella's car, didn't look as badly damaged. They, of course, the Bridgestones. Nice stop by the Ferraris. Now, will 8.6, now will this set of Goodyear tyres suit Schumacher a little better than the last ones?
There, here they come. Here he's going to get out in front of Irvine. Magnificent. Michael Schumacher gets out ahead of the battle between Irvine, Coulthard and Wurtz, and that was absolutely critical.
That was critical. Irvine's done his job, because had he not held Coulthard back, then Coulthard could have come into play. And there's Wurtz in the pits with some kind of problem. Has he stalled the engine? No, he just couldn't select first gear for whatever reason. So Wurtz on his way. That was absolutely critical. Michael will be very pleased with that. The back marker gets straight out of his way, and that will help him through the race.
And of course, Mika Häkkinen is now leading the race. Michael Schumacher, with a clear track in front of him, is in second place, having made his first of what we expect to be 2 tyre stops. He's taken Takagi in the Tyrrell. He's lapped both the Tyrrells now. Rosset, who is in 19th place, Takagi, who is 18th.
Well, I wonder now if Häkkinen can do a much longer run. If Häkkinen's got enough fuel on board to do a 28 or 29 lap stint while Schumacher's car is fat and heavy with its new fuel load on board, then he may be able to close down that 5.2 second deficit. And Häkkinen does a 1:20.4. Incredibly fast lap from Häkkinen. He's got 4 or 5 laps now to try to get out of the pit stop in front of Michael Schumacher, because Schumacher's pit stop was quick enough. There wasn't any particular problems with it.
And now the bung is really coming out. Eddie Irvine comes in, which lets Coulthard through into third place. Frentzen will move up into 4th position. And Villeneuve, no, I don't think Villeneuve is going to make it. Remember that Irvine now has made his stop, and there is Frentzen going through, followed by Ralf Schumacher, and Irvine just gets out ahead of Ricardo Rosset. So he had as good a pit stop as he could possibly have hoped to have had. And the race order now, Mika Häkkinen leading Michael Schumacher by over 16 seconds, but Schumacher has made his tyre stop.
The 2 Benettons tucked up behind a lot of traffic. Their poor pit stops really did them no favours at all, and it's taken the shine off of the early part of their race as Wurtz made a big move up the inside to lap Rosset. You're back on board with the race leader, Mika Häkkinen, a 1:20.6 that time round. He really is making the difference. I wonder if McLaren gave him enough fuel to give him 28 or 29 laps, because if so, when he comes out of the pits, assuming he has no problems during the pit stop, he could well be neck and neck with Schumacher into that first corner.
Yeah, a one-stop strategy would be about 33 laps before he came in. I can't see that happening, but anyway, here is Coulthard. He has got ahead of Takagi.
Yeah, Coulthard out on his own, of course, because Irvine has made the pit stop. So that should release Coulthard to put some hot laps in too, which in fact he's doing with a 22.0.
Yeah, of course, both Mika Häkkinen in the lead and David Coulthard, who is third, know that they've got to go really quick now as Damon Hill comes in from what was 6th position in the Jordan. He's had a very, very nasty temperature-oriented cold for the last 3 days, has been feeling very groggy, hasn't driven as fast as he wants to for physical reasons. The car is going well. His teammate Ralf Schumacher, who has stopped, of course, is now down in 11th position. We're going to wait for things to settle down just a little bit as the new race leader, Mika Häkkinen, comes through at the end of his 27th lap.
This is some of the best driving I've ever seen from Mika Häkkinen. He's no longer being hunted down in the championship. It's all level, as you well know, and Michael Schumacher's been setting the pace in this race, so Häkkinen, for the first time all season really, has had to chase hard. And we saw him have that problem in Monza when he was chasing Schumacher with the brake failure, but now he's put in some blistering laps, and Häkkinen, one of the finest drives of his career.
6/10 of a lap, 6/10 of a second faster than Michael Schumacher there on the previous lap. Mika Häkkinen, look at Coulthard.
Murray, look at this. Mika Häkkinen, 2.3 seconds, quicker than Häkkinen on the last. Häkkinen quicker by 2.3 seconds than Schumacher. Schumacher in traffic. That could be significant on the pit stop changeover.
Fascinating race. I remind you that Häkkinen and Schumacher are level on World Championship points as we look at this replay.
I think we're about to see why Michael Schumacher was held up on that last lap, because that halved his advantage before the pit stops started up.
I suspect Jos Verstappen moved across the chicane curb and into the path of Schumacher.
Boys, look at the McLaren boys in the background, Murray, just as they were watching the Sauber come out of the pit lane. McLaren boys coming out into the pit lane, so clearly they're expecting one of their two cars in.
Well, is it going to be Häkkinen? Is it going to be David Coulthard? At the present moment, the gap between Häkkinen and
There's
Schumacher...
a McLaren. It's Häkkinen in the pits.
Are you there, James?
Yeah, Murray, indeed I am, and the tyre wear looks fantastic, I have to say, from the Bridgestones. The right rear looks lovely. The front's to take the biggest knock here. The new set gone on. A little bit of untidiness at the end there.
Look! Schumacher goes across the line as Häkkinen exits the pit lane.
I told you it's going to be close into the first corner, and there it is. They're absolutely side by side. Schumacher getting out of shape. Can he put a move on Häkkinen on the exit? Häkkinen's got to cover him, keep it to the left, Mika, on the way into turn 3. Then you're okay.
And they've got two cars in front of them are going to slow them up, and it looks as though Mika Häkkinen has put a successful move on Michael Schumacher, thanks to those blisteringly quick laps he put in after Michael Schumacher went in for his tyre stop. And Mika Häkkinen leads the race truly, properly now, leaving pit stop situations out of it. Mika Häkkinen leads the Luxembourg Grand Prix on lap 29 out of 67.
Well, he was 5.2 seconds down before the pit stop started. He put in those fast laps. Then Schumacher lost 2.3 seconds in the traffic, and that's what happens. They go into the first corner side by side. Häkkinen makes it stick. Schumacher was surprised, lost the back end of the car. If that Tyrrell gets out of Häkkinen's way easily, there's a lovely piece of clear track ahead of him, and Mika is on his way.
Yeah, he's coming up to the chicane. I don't think he's going to do it. Yes, he is, because luckily for him, the Tyrrell moves over and lets both of them through, Häkkinen and Michael Schumacher, as they complete their 29th lap.
Yeah, it was a Minardi actually, but it doesn't really matter. He's out of the way, and now the two leaders are line astern, and Häkkinen's car looks the faster, looks more secure at the back end. Michael really struggling with the rear tyres on his car, in my view. He looks like he's having to fight the car on the way into all of the corners.
Coulthard in from third. Meantime, Jacques Villeneuve has moved up to fourth place ahead of Eddie Irvine. Villeneuve has not made a stop. He's the only man in the top 6 who hasn't.
McLaren getting the business done in the pits today. Now, does this get him out in front of Irvine? Yes, it does. So now Coulthard consolidates his third position. He can now get on the gas and get after Michael Schumacher.